Hello and welcome to another AAIS webinar. I'm Stephanie Vasey, Product Manager of Commercial Lines and Inland Marine at AAIS. Today we'll be looking at contractor risk market trends with OwlSurance, a business unit of ValueMomentum, previously named BizDynamics. Today's demo will include a discussion on current market trends surrounding contractor risks. We'll touch on hot topics and challenges experienced across the industry and how carriers are currently approaching contractor risks in today's market. In addition, AAIS Partner OwlSurance will share practical use cases of how carriers can apply their tool to better streamline efficiencies and deliver speed to market to their customers. Now, on to today's featured presentation. I'm happy to introduce Bob Reidinger, VP of Sales and Business Development at OwlSurance. He handles account relationships for ValueMomentum's OwlSurance Group and previously held senior roles at national P&C carriers, Accenture, and Capgemini. Bob, I now hand over the reins to you and your team.
Thanks, Stephanie. It's great to be here with you today. For those who aren't familiar with us, we are a partner with AAIS. We empower our customers with market data, and AAIS's work in the space is formidable. That's why we're working with them. They give data, we give software, everyone wins. Now let me pause here to say something about OwlSurance. For those of you who have been with us on the journey since our quote management solution for AAIS launched in January, you may be still thinking of us as BizDynamics. But in August, we announced the rebranding to OwlSurance. Insurance has always been our specialty, and with the new name, we've made it part of our identity. It reflects our industry expertise and strong client base. Our team, technology, and client-first approach haven't changed. We're still part of ValueMomentum, which is over 20 years old, with a ton of insurer clients and plenty of industry experience. OwlSurance is the business unit that handles quoting management for AAIS. Let me tell you a little bit about the solution and rollout before we get to the demo. It does everything the current AAIS underwriting platform does, with guided flows and up-to-date AAIS content. We've already enhanced it beyond the baseline, and it's ready to be provisioned and used out of the box. We streamlined the user experience to make it easier to use. There are simple English descriptions of the fields like class and coverage, as well as coverage recommendations. Our solution is hosted on the cloud, so no server infrastructure is required by you. And we also have a help desk supporting the solution. Since we started on this journey last December, we have implemented COP and 8 classes of inland marine. We have continued to listen to our customers and enhance the product. We typically add customer LCMs and continuously improve the user experience. We have enabled both underwriters and agents to quote on the system. And as a partner, we also manage AAIS updates, ensuring you with the latest rates, rules, and forms. Now let me introduce Anand Rajaraman, our Vice President of Product Development, who will take us through a demo of the software.
Thanks, Bob. Let's log into our AAIS quote application to give you an overview of its features. As soon as the user logs into the application, they are taken to the dashboard or the home page of the quote application. This dashboard page lists all quote transactional activity in reverse chronological order so that the last updated quotes can be the first to be accessed. For every transaction, you could also get an at-a-glance view of key information about the transaction, like customer on file, domicile state, line of business under which coverage is requested, the term information, premium data, status from this page. Users can create new quotes from scratch or select an existing quote to review or update from this page. Also, new quotes can be created by cloning data from existing quotes by leveraging the copy quote option. Users can also search and retrieve existing quotes by keying in a customer name or quote ID by leveraging the search functionality to the right of your screen. The homepage also enables you to access our customer service portal. This portal serves as a single point of access to knowledge bases and self-help functions. You can also get in touch with us through the portal and see the status of your service requests. This portal will also keep customers notified about periodic updates to the software that we make or intend to make. An example of this would be an update that we need to perform or have performed consequent to receipt of bulletin from AAIS. We mentioned that from the dashboard, new quotes can be created or existing quotes can be modified. Let's show you how to go about doing that. In the interest of time, we will select an existing quote to walk you through the steps involved in developing that quote. I'm going to select an existing quote now. As soon as user selects an existing quote or clicks on create new quote in the previous screen, they are taken through a 4-step process to develop a quote. The steps themselves are listed above. The step the user is at currently is highlighted in blue so that users exactly know which step they are at and how many more steps exist in lead up to developing premiums. Currently, the user is in the first step, which is to capture account information. There are 3 more steps prior to developing premiums. That is to capture risk information, coverage information, and application of judgment rating debits or credits through IRPMs for this particular quote. The account screen is organized into multiple panels so that users can not only get an overview of the type of information they need to capture, these panels also provide for a meaningful way to locate pertinent information about the customer or agent on file for that particular customer. The account screen has 6 different types of information that needs to be captured. Who is the insured on file? Who is their key contact? In this particular case, it will be their agent. What is the term of coverage? If the transaction is initiated for a renewal term, what is the prior policy number and the prior renewal term? What is the line of business under which coverage is requested? As you can see, we do support a number of AIS inland marine classes besides contractors equipment like builder's risk, motor truck cargo, electronic data processing, scheduled property floater, so on and so forth. We are continuing to deepen our partnership with AIS since we want to help our customers launch compliant insurance products to consumers in the marketplace fast and also price them accurately. We have chosen contractors equipment in this demonstration. Once selected, you could add a schedule of equipment that are intended to be covered. For reasons of convenience and to develop quotes quickly, there are 2 methods to capture the equipment schedule. If you do not have a lot of equipment, you could capture the equipment schedule in line within the application by clicking on the Add Equipment button. If you do have a lot of equipment for which coverage is provided, you could export a template in Excel format, capture the equipment details in Excel file, and import them back into the application. The application, including in the account page, all mandatory fields for which input is required have been denoted with an asterisk sign. To develop quotes quick, users need to focus only on those mandatory pieces of information. After the premium is developed, they can always come back in to supply additional pieces of information on need basis. Whenever mandatory information is not provided, appropriate error message is going to be prominently displayed adjacent to the field for which input is solicited so that users do not have to locate that field that has errors in them. Let's move on to the risk page by clicking on Proceed. Once the user inputs the account information, they are taken to the risk screen. The risk screen is contextual in nature. We chose in the prior screen contractors equipment as the product. So in this screen, appropriate information needed to classify the contractor's business, along with the coverage form in which this policy needs to be written, and any deductible at the policy level needs to be captured. You could also think of the screen to answer the following questions once captured. What's the classification of the contractor's business? what's the coverage form in which insurance needs to be written, what's the policy level deductible that needs to be applied on the policy. You can choose from the prescribed AIS deductible, or you can provide your own deductible. If you choose an AIS deductible, an AIS debit or credit for that deductible would be applied based on AIS guidelines for that particular state. If you choose your own deductible, you will need to manually specify a debit or a credit. Much like in the account screen, wherever mandatory information is not provided, appropriate message is displayed prominently adjacent to the field for which an input is solicited, so users do not have to locate that field that has errors in them. Once risk information is captured, we can now proceed on to the coverage page by clicking on the Proceed button. Based on risk information we input in the risk screen, the system enforces AIS coverage or underwriting guidelines. These guidelines are enforced based on the domicile of the customer. Only those coverages that are either mandated or could be optionally selected based on the characteristics of the risk is displayed to the user. The coverage screen is intended to provide a 360-degree view of all of the coverages selected and available for selection, together with key risk and coverage characteristics all in one view. So at a glance, you will be able to see what coverages are mandated, what coverages have been selected at the discretion of your underwriting organization, and what coverages are available for selection. For reasons of familiarity, we have organized these coverages the same way AIS organized them in their underwriting platform. So there are 6 main coverage categories for contractors' equipment: key coverages, coverage extensions, supplemental coverages, options, general endorsements, and terrorism. Mandatory coverages are always selected, highlighted in green and grayed out. Optional coverages are available for selection, and once selected, the selections are highlighted in green. If a coverage is selected, information that needs to be captured specific to that coverage in context appears right under that particular coverage. Once again, all mandatory pieces of information that needs to be captured have been denoted with an asterisk sign. To develop codes quick, users need to focus only on those mandatory pieces of information that requires an input for a rate to be developed. After the rate is developed, they can always come back in to supply additional pieces of information on a need basis. Let's move on to the IRPM screen by clicking on Proceed. The IRPM screen provides underwriters with the ability to recognize special characteristics of the risk in context and apply judgment factors to distinguish the risk from the average insured in that class. These special characteristics are displayed at the bottom, against which a debit or credit needs to be applied by your underwriting organization. For each characteristic, there is guidance on how much debit or credit your underwriters can apply. Should these guidelines be violated, appropriate rules are enforced and an error message is provided that the applied debit or credit is in violation of IRPM guidelines. You could also think of the screen to provide a 360-degree view of all characteristics against which judgment factors can be applied. Information about the special characteristic against which debits or credits are applied or not applied, why they were applied in the first place, is all available for access from within one central place. You could also export these characteristics in Excel, capture the debit credit information, and import them back into the applications as well. As soon as you capture IRPM debits or credits, you could instantly get a rate by hitting the re-rate button. For carriers who want to keep playing with premium numbers until the right premium is obtained, they could continue to edit IRPM data, hit the re-rate button, and the system makes a rating service call to exchange premium information. If the premium is not in line with their expectations, they could continue to modify the IRPMs until the right premium is obtained. Once the right premium is obtained, clicking on proceed will take the user to the pricing summary screen where they can get a holistic view of how premiums have been calculated. Once the right premium is developed, if you do want to get details about how these premiums have been calculated, we access the pricing screen. The pricing screen is organized into two tabs. One is the premium summary tab, and the next one is the premium breakup tab. The premium summary tab gives you a snapshot view of how premiums are developed on a per coverage basis, along with key rating variables and elements that led to development of that particular premium. As you can see in the screen, for every coverage, information about key rating elements like loss cost multipliers, deductible credit or debit, IRPM is shown along with the final rate. For each coverage, we also present what the AAIS indicative premium is for pricing that particular coverage. Let's now click on the premium breakup screen. The premium breakup screen decomposes the premium calculations more granularly by providing contextual information about additional rating elements that drove premium development on a per coverage basis. We calculate premiums on a per coverage basis and roll it up to the policy level. We also track all the rating elements that resulted in computation of premiums on a per coverage basis for reasons of audit. This can be further evidenced in the rating worksheet, which can be downloaded by clicking on the rating worksheet button in the premium summary tab. So the rating worksheet begins by providing key information about the insured on file, along with term information, and proceeds on to capture summary level premium information at a line of business level. We print both the annualized as well as the term premium in this particular sheet. It then breaks down the line of business premium on a per coverage basis and prints them for your review. Key characteristics of the risk, the terms of coverage that resulted in a particular premium being developed is prominently displayed right above the coverage premiums. Should users want to know how premium for each coverage is being developed, they could access detailed worksheets wherein we print every rating element, its value, along with the formulae being used for premium development. And this detail is available for each coverage that is getting rated. Wrap up this demonstration, just a few additional capabilities we wanted to highlight. Based on risk and coverage information we input, the system enforces AAIS form attachment guidelines and provides information about the policy documents that need to be attached as part of a particular transaction. These policy documents are organized under 6 categories, the exact same way AAIS organizes them as part of their underwriting platform. Information about the form ID, the edition, description, etc. is displayed on this particular screen, and these forms can be accessed via a redirect to AAIS Direct website should users want to consult the language in those forms. You could also download the list of forms that require attachment so that you could originate your issuance activity from your admin systems. Also, the entire transaction payload that includes information about all the data captured, the premium and form outputs generated can be downloaded in an XML file. You could use this file to automate ingestion of risk coverage, premium, and form data into your admin systems or into your data warehouses. If you're interested, we could share samples of these files with you. This concludes the demonstration. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Anand. That looks great. On our new website, OwlSurance.com, we have a lot of materials for you to access. It's easy to request a demo. We have a lot of training materials online as well. You can access our previous webinar with AAIS on COP and builder's risk also. You can contact us directly to talk more about the quoting solution or learn more on our website. Thank you very much for your time today. Now, let me turn it back over to Stephanie.
All right. Thank you to OwlSurance for your presentation. We now have a few minutes left for Q&A. Go ahead and use the Q&A submission box function at the bottom of your Zoom screen to submit any questions you have for our panelists today. Please note, if we don't get to all the submitted questions, we'll be sure to reach out directly and answer them after today's session. So let's start with our first question, and that is, what does the effort look like to implement this?
None, no servers needed. It's all cloud-based. We will give you the URL, log on credentials, and you're good to go.
That's perfect. Thank you, Anand. And the next question looks like, can you handle deviations to AAIS?
Yes, we can. And part of that, and we've done this, for instance, with RLI, load their loss cost modifiers. We have also worked with clients who have more extensive deviations. And if you have more extensive deviations, we'd like to talk to you because we have different approaches for those.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Another question that's coming in, can my agents and MGAs be users?
Absolutely. We've implemented that, for example, with TrueStage, and we have multiple MGAs and brokers that are tied in as users to the system. And as part of that, we're able to keep the different MGAs and brokers from seeing each other's quotes. So we've done a good job with that.
Okay, great. That's great. Another question, this could go either to Bob or Anand. Can multiple products be quoted at the same time for the same policy?
So we do have a multi-line quoting experience. In a single transaction, you would be able to fulfill some of your customer or agent's broader insurance requirements. Yes, we do support multi-line quoting.
Okay, perfect. Next question, can the debit or credit maximum be overridden by an underwriter, manager, or an admin on a particular risk?
That's correct, yes. So what we put in there in the software is AAIS prescribed debit or credit. This can be modified via company mandate based on role-based access and control as well.
Okay, great. It's great to have that flexibility. I will pause a little bit to see if any other questions roll in. Give it just a minute or two. Another question, can this solution be used for midterm policy changes?
So this solution calculates the term premium, and it is perfectly capable of calculating the midterm policy changes via an endorsement or any policy servicing transaction as well.
Great, it's perfect. Okay. I think I'm not seeing any other questions coming in at this time. So thank you, Bob and Anand, for joining us. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for everyone in attendance for joining us to learn about contractor risk market trends with OwlSurance. For those of you looking to review today's presentation again, it'll be available on demand on the AAIS YouTube channel in the coming weeks. We will also send a follow-up email with all speaker contact information as well as the link to the video recording. Please feel free to contact either me or one of our engagement managers with any questions, or if you would like an introduction to our AAIS partner OwlSurance. Please enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and thank you so much, Bob and Anand.